weapons charges. 5 others are also charged. Authorities say that shooting was gang-related. And starting today, it will be more expensive to visit state parks across North Carolina. The change will impact campground and entrance fees, with tent and RV sites ranging between $20 and $30. Certain annual passes will go up to $200.
Also happening today, city leaders looking for your input on the future of transit here in Charlotte. It's being put on by the Charlotte Black Voter Project. The mayor and Congresswoman Alma Adams is going to be there. Tonight's transit town hall happening 6 o'clock at Weeping Willow AME Zion Church over on Milton Road in East Charlotte.
This morning, we're starting to see a lot more congestion on our highways and interstates. The biggest crash right now is affecting I-85 northbound traffic from Gastonia. The right lane is blocked at I-85 northbound at Main Street, so exit 22, and it is about a 2-mile backup right now.
Oof, never a good situation through there. A good situation today, though. We have the mid-80s, mixed of cloud and sunshine. I think you have more clouds to end the day. There's a slight chance for rain really to close out the afternoon, begin the evening, especially west of I-77. Then we have on and off rain, pop-up showers and storms Friday afternoon, Friday evening, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, heading into Sunday. So it's one of those weekends that you really have to monitor the radar because there's a lot of back and forth action.
Finally, this morning, one TikToker sparking new debate online. And so we are asking you the question, do you need to get a couple of gifts if you go to the wedding? Lots of you responded in the last 30 minutes. Take a look. Response is just about unanimous. Pretty much everybody says, yep, you got to take a gift.
Showing up without a gift is classless.
That's right. Oof. Your mama taught you better than that. Although somebody did point out you shouldn't have to get a gift for the shower and the wedding, which is a more nuanced answer. I think the easiest solution, if you don't want to get somebody a gift, don't go to the wedding.
Stay home.
Yeah. Simple. All right, folks, a reminder, the news doesn't end here. We're live all day with breaking news, weather, and traffic.
Join us on WCNC Plus.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. The morning commute started off a bit shaky on 485. Destiny has a check on traffic in a moment. First, though, we start with Chris and the Love and Life forecast.
All right, let's do this. We have our Dallas camera showing a great day for the day before Love and Life. We have 86 degrees for today with temperatures on the rise into the mid 80s once again. By the way, yesterday we hit 87. Today, 86 degrees. All in all, it's going to be a fresh breeze on and off throughout the next couple of days. You're like, fresh breeze? What does that mean? Well, it just means that the trees are swaying. This is just a term, according to the Beaufort wind scale, how we judge the impact of winds. Now, talking about the Love and Life Festival. We're looking at widely scattered showers by Friday and Friday evening. Saturday night and Sunday, that's the best chance for scattered showers and storms. Let's get to the first rain chance today. We're going to have some rain for our western viewing area. So if you're watching from the mountains, Morganton, I'll name you, Shelby as well, you have a good chance for rain really after 3 o'clock and before 6 o'clock. This line will get to the I-77 corridor right at the end of our evening commute, but it's not a guarantee. I think a lot of this is going to fade out. So I would say probably about 40% of us see rain, mainly down to the southeast. We're going to stay dry. As we continue to roll this into your Friday, there's a slight chance for a spotty rain shower, but here's when Love and Life begins. Around 2 o'clock, we're going to have a chance for pop-up showers and even some thunderstorms. That luckily is going to be just an afternoon event, and then once you get a little bit closer to the evening hours, that's going to allow for a little break in the action. That actually could be good news for our concert cast. Here's 3:15. Some of the earlier acts are going to be performing, but as of right now, again, this is right now, this is going to change, especially what I'm about to show you for your Saturday. From 8 to 9, Benson Boone, and from about 9:30 to 11, Gwen Stefani. Right now, you're just looking at clouds. Still feel a little steamy because you might have had some rain earlier in the day. Now, moving into Saturday. Saturday has been a nightmare to forecast because it's all depending on where that cold front is going to be. That cold front keeps on getting slower and slower. Recently, during spring, we've had a lot of what's called atmospheric blocking, or I like to refer to as an atmospheric traffic jam. That's exactly what's happening here. So that front is going to be a slow mover, which is going to keep rain chances around longer. As of right now, there's a slight chance for rain in the morning. If you need a period of, hey, I need 2 to 3 hours for it to be dry, Chris. And I was like, well, I got you. It looks like it's the end of the morning heading into the early afternoon. After 1 o'clock, things change. Because look at this, noon, nothing going on. But as we typically see during the summertime, sometimes you can immediately have pop-up showers and storms. I think we start to see this develop right around the mid to late afternoon. So it's called after 2. But what's interesting here is I think we have what's called a trough. So this is a little area of low pressure. It's going to trigger storms along it, but wherever it's positioned, a difference of 20 miles could be a difference of, hey, we're actually seeing a mix of cloud and sunshine over here in Gastonia, but then widespread rain after rain shower over in Monroe. That's going to affect the concert, but especially by the later part of the concert is where you can have some of the most significant rain. At one point through the overnight, we're going to see widespread rain. It's going to rain for hours. But check how close this comes to our concert cast. So Petey Pablo, right at 4:30 at about 5 o'clock, there's a shower in the area. I think Petey could get wet briefly. Then we have a little bit of a break. But then right in between about Ludacris at 7 o'clock, Pitbull at 8 o'clock, you could have a nearby shower. If there's any lightning, that's going to be an issue because they're going to shut things down. Also, they're going to shut down Kendrick as well. We have to move inside. Once you get a little bit closer to that Weezer concert, widespread rain is possible. So if we can keep our fingers crossed, we might be able to avoid the rain for the time being, maybe for some concert goers, but it's not looking great. Temperatures cooler after that, either side of 80 degrees heading into the middle of next week.
And we also have a lot of traffic to talk about this morning. If you are just joining us on WCNC Plus, a lot of congestion heading out of Uptown on I-77 this morning. This is the southbound traffic view. Very heavy for no particular reason. It's just, you know, the morning commute. But we are seeing a lot of traffic also on I-77 northbound in South Charlotte, a little bit on I-485 near Matthews, and then the usual I-85 northbound traffic is actually because of a crash in Gaston County. So if we zoom in here, we can see exactly what this is. An accident has the right lane blocked at I-85 northbound at Main Street, so in the Lowell area, and the backup is all the way into Gastonia. Gastonia this morning, so you'll definitely want to plan some extra time. Even nearby streets have backups as well. And then now that there's a right lane block, that is going to cause even more issues. Another incident this morning in the Charlotte area, Independence Boulevard West between Albemarle Road and Eastway Drive. That's causing heavy backups for those who are headed into the uptown area. And then this is some good news. We have traffic that has cleared this morning. There was an accident causing 2 middle lanes to be blocked at Province Road South at Golf Links Drive. That is clear, so no problems if you're headed to I-45 in that area. These are also our travel times right now, very heavy across the Charlotte area.
Next month, some of the world's best soccer clubs will play in Charlotte. The FIFA Cup World Cup kicks off its tournament in June, featuring 32 of the world's best teams playing in 11 cities across the country.
You might recall that the FIFA club president came to Charlotte last month to make that big announcement. Joining us this morning to talk about the exciting tournament is Chief Tournament Officer Manola Zubaria. Manola, thanks for coming on and talking to us. We appreciate it.
Hello, Ben, Lisa. Good morning. Good morning, Charlotte. How are you?
And good morning to you. We are great. So tell us about the FIFA Club World Cup and why this year's tournament specifically in the U.S. is so significant.
Well, it's historic. It's the first ever edition with 32 clubs from all 6 continents and from clubs all over the world. We have 20 nations represented, but we have over 83 countries represented by the players who for the first time will compete with as many clubs. It's the most inclusive and the largest ever Club World Cup, and it's coming to the U.S.
We know that soccer or football has increased across the U.S., but what should the average American sports fan who doesn't typically follow soccer as closely expect to see with this summer's tournament?
Well, it'll be an exciting, 30-day event. It will go by with so much excitement. 63 matches played in these 30 days. So it's not your traditional league that goes for like 9-8 months. So there'll be a lot of excitement. These games mean a lot. It's not your traditional summer-friendly tour that some of these fans may have occasionally been to. This means a lot. There's a lot at stake, and it'll be the first ever largest Club World Cup.
And Manola, it's not just the action that you're talking about, but also some of the biggest names expected to play in the tournament. Tell us about them.
Yes, I mean, these are some of the best, if not the most of the best top players in the world right now from across the globe. I mean, in your market in Charlotte, you have Real Madrid coming to town, Vinicius Juniors. I mean, there's so many players. There could be also new players coming for this competition. Real Madrid likes to bring the top and the best. You have Bayern Munich. Again, these two alone are just some of the best, probably top 5 clubs in the world. There's Kylian Mbappe in Real Madrid, Vinicius Juniors. You have Müller in Bayern Munich. I can go on, Erling Haaland. There's so many players coming that for the general fan, this will be an opportunity to see them up close for the first time.
And many of these clubs have like rich traditions. I mean, they're known, they have storied players there. So it's certainly going to be an exciting time. Again, if Americans aren't used to this, it's going to be exciting, even for those who don't quite understand the game.
Yes, it's exciting. As you said, sometimes you watch these games occasionally on television and just seem so far, right? They're either in Europe or South America. This is an opportunity to see them in your backyard. There's 4 great matchups in Charlotte. You have the opportunity also for 2 round of 16 games with the uncertainty of which teams will qualify. I guarantee will be some of the best teams in the tournament if they make it that far. You also have Benfica, historical team from Portugal, and Pachuca from Mexico. Again, these are some of the best clubs in the world.
And I'm told we got to get out in time, but tell us one line. How do people find out more information?
Of course, FIFA.com/tickets for all information and the opportunity to buy tickets for all of the 63 matches.
All right, Manola Zubaria. Manola, thanks for coming on.
Thank
we
you
appreciate
so much.
it.
The FIFA Club World Cup matches coming to the Queen City are happening June 22nd and 24th. Again, the following weekend on June 28th and 30th.
New this morning, we are learning new details about the future of artificial intelligence in schools and what it could mean for your kids. CMS just released the results of an AI survey they conducted earlier this year. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Vance now live for us this morning to break down some of those results and what comes next. Richard.
Yeah, good Thursday morning, everyone. Basically, guys, AI is here, and folks are making use of it. CMS knows that, and recently it sent out that survey asking a lot of folks for their opinion. When it came to its staff, it said that about 66% of them said, hey, we want to use it. We want that AI training as well, and they preferred in-person workshops as well as virtual sessions. Now, more than 10,000 voices, including students, families, and staff, gave feedback through the surveys, focus groups, and interviews from what the survey on the vision of the future of AI looks like in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Now, those surveyed, of those surveyed, I should say, 79% said they already use AI at home. Nearly half of them said they use AI at work, and it's about 17% of students said they've already used AI. But when it comes to classrooms, opinions were divided, with school staff more cautious and district leaders more hopeful. The top concerns: academic integrity, student privacy, and how AI could affect students' social skills. Still, most agree AI should enhance learning, not replace it. Parents want students to learn how AI works, when to trust it, and what is ethical. We spoke to CMS Superintendent Crystal Hill earlier this year. This school year, she told us the district has already started working on getting staff used and familiar with the benefits of artificial intelligence.
So we've done a lot of education with our leaders in terms of understanding AI, understanding the potential, how it can be a benefit to us as educators, as well to our students.
And of course, guys, it's important to also note that as far as the rollout, there should be a rollout of the final policies and procedures this July. That means that they'll be able to say that this is what the plan looks like for the following school year. We're right here at the CMS bus bar in Charlotte. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Richard. 7-11 now. This morning, President Trump has one word for Americans: patience. That's the message from the White House as new data shows GDP growth is shrinking.
It comes as Democrats bite back, saying the president has failed to make life more affordable. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
It's going to be about 40%.
Under pressure from some troubling economic news, a Commerce Department report showing the U.S. economy shrank slightly during the first 3 months of the year. President Trump shifting blame.
That's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is quarterly numbers.
It was a quarter during which President Trump was in office for all but 20 days, and when economists say businesses rushed to buy imports before tariffs kicked in, dragging down U.S. production. Surveys also showing consumer confidence down.
Taking a hit in what Americans expect in the next 6 months. We're talking business conditions, employment prospects, and future income as well.
In some of her most high-profile comments since her election loss, former Vice President Kamala Harris saying President Trump owns this economy and his policy moves.
Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession.
The president acknowledging his triple-digit tariffs on China could cause shortages of some goods and higher prices.
Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know? And maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
While insisting the payoff will be worth it, pointing to new investments in U.S. manufacturing.
They're really coming in fast.
Overnight, an effort to roll back President Trump's tariffs failed.
Motion to table is agreed to.
In the Senate, though it did have some bipartisan support. The president urging increasingly anxious Americans to be patient as he works to reshape global trade. President Trump also spoke overnight about his administration finally signing a long-anticipated deal to gain access to some of Ukraine's critical minerals and natural resources, saying the U.S. presence in Ukraine could curb Russian President Vladimir Putin while repaying U.S. military aid. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New this morning, former Vice President Kamala Harris made her first public remarks since leaving the White House. You saw some of that in Alice's piece. Harris was the keynote speaker at the Emerge America event last night. It's a nonprofit that seeks and trains women to run for office. During her speech, the former vice president criticized President Trump's tariff policies.
Look, some people are describing what's been happening in recent months as absolute chaos. And of course, I understand why. And it's certainly true of those tariffs. Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession. But friends, please let us not be duped into thinking everything is chaos. I know it may feel that way, but understand what we are in fact witnessing is a high-velocity event where a vessel is being used for the swift implementation of an agenda that has been decades in the making.
Harris also slammed the president on his immigration policy and praised Americans for having the courage to speak out.
Happening today, Vice President J.D. Vance expected to make a stop in South Carolina. He's going to join the administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to tour and deliver remarks at the Nucor Steel Berkeley. It's a steel manufacturing plant about 30 miles north of Charleston. Vance will highlight what the Trump administration is calling America's manufacturing renaissance.
New this morning, a baseball fan is in the hospital after a scary fall at a major league game last night. That man fell from the stands at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. The person was sitting in the front row of the outfield, up 21 feet from the field. Members of the Pirates training staff, along with emergency medical staff on hand, ran onto the field to help. Those who witnessed the incident described what they saw.
Well, to me, what it looked like is someone had a little too much and just simply over rejoiced and fell off. It doesn't look like anything too crazy happened, except he jumped up, flipped over the railing, and unfortunately that was what we saw. It's a good reminder to watch what you drink. It's a good reminder to not get too crazy, to not get too caught up in the moment, because it could cost you your life at the end of the day.
The Pittsburgh Pirates released a statement on X, in short, sending thoughts and prayers to the injured person. According to the police, the man was taken to a local hospital in critical condition. It's not clear yet why he fell.
Turning back to your WCNC weather impact forecast. While things are looking good here in the Carolinas, other parts of the country still getting hit by severe storms. Chris here once again with those details.
Yeah, and some of the flooding video is absolutely harrowing, and I want to start here in Oklahoma. Take a look at this video showing a family evacuating, and you can see how high the water is. So the slow-moving system dropping record rainfall, because this is actually called training rain. So you have one storm after another, because it's almost following atmospheric train tracks, pretty much one storm followed by another one, usually around a stationary front. So the southern part of the state and parts of northern Texas are dealing with scenarios like this. Responders conducted a number of rescues, and there was 4 officially where it was life-threatening, and the National Weather Service issued a warning saying excessive rainfall could produce flash flooding across parts of the southern plains. More flooding that we've had across the area will likely continue, especially through areas in Oklahoma heading over to Arkansas in the near term, because here's what it looks like on our Doppler radar. You can see a lot of rain along this little trough that continues to push its way into Arkansas, parts of Alabama as well, and the stationary front is still locked and loaded off towards the west, and that's going to create some big-time problems. And we have a number of rainfall outlooks for the low to the medium threshold for up to 3 to 6 inches of rain on top of what we've already seen. And then it's going to be the focal point right here around Dallas over to Arkansas and the northern parts of Louisiana before it starts to slide a little bit close to our area. I actually do have a new breaking update that we have officially been added to the more severe side of things for this coming Saturday. So Saturday's forecast continues to get worse and worse. So our severe weather outlook, we have 2 bullseyes, medium threshold centered right over Columbus, Ohio, and then the other one that extends from northern Texas through central Mississippi. But then heading into Friday, it doesn't really move too much. Still a low risk now starting in the western side of the Carolinas. This is the new update I have for you. This coming Saturday, yeah, all the Carolinas and mid-Atlantic states under a low risk for severe storms. So we're not just talking about rain for this Saturday and some constant problems. We're talking about the severity level at least being at a lower end. But regardless, that's showing a higher chance for thunderstorms. Thunderstorms have lightning, and lightning delays outdoor events. So keep that in mind if you have any plans. There's multiple rounds of rain to get to starting today that'll continue through the weekend. Let's get to as many as I can. Number 1, this is the most detailed futurecast that I can show you that I think is the most accurate. We have a band of rain that starts off in the mountains starting about 3 o'clock to about 6 o'clock, raining from Hickory to Morganton, Banner Elk to Boone. Then it starts to weaken as it gets along the I-77 corridor. So I think the further southeast you go, Charlotte, likely staying dry. Maybe we see a spotty shower through the overnight. But here's the deal on Friday. Friday, I think you have a general chance for thunderstorms. Seeing some heavier rain here and there early to mid-afternoon, and then we'll start to dry out before we'll have a few breaks, hit or miss north and south of the area, completing your Friday evening. Now, Saturday morning, I think you have some spotty rain showers. Clouds can increase for some areas, but as of right now, it's looking like the late morning to the early afternoon might be a nice window of opportunity, but it doesn't last long because already by about 2 o'clock, we're seeing clusters of storms starting to pop. It's at this point, it's feeding off any sunshine that we would have seen. Some of these could be strong to severe. You're seeing some of these have a little bow to them, allowing for some gustier winds. Anyone that's individual, if we have enough wind shear, we could have a little rotation that usually increases the severity and also brings a very low tornado risk. And I think that's pretty much the back of the mind and near zero at this point, but it is out there. And those storms are going to be quick moving, pushing through the area. So this is a chance that you could have not only storms, but also storm after storm after storm for your Saturday evening. So I'm hoping that it's going to trend a better direction than that. Just letting you know the newest update keeps on getting worse and worse for our Saturday, especially for the evening hours with so much happening this weekend. Heading through the weekend, though, I think that rain jogs into your Sunday morning. Then after that, you might have some hit or miss shower and storms during the afternoon. We'll keep that rain chance around as long as that front is hovering in the Carolinas on Monday. Temperatures in the mid to the upper 70s at that point, and then either side of 80 degrees drying out through the middle of next week. So a lot in the forecast. Fingers crossed that there's a new change by tomorrow before it gets here. But first, let's hope for good changes in the traffic world as well with Destiny.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more going on this morning. There's some accidents that have been on the map since the 6 o'clock hour. Some are impacting traffic more than others, but as you can see by all this red and orange on the map, you want to give yourself plenty of time if you plan to take I-85 northbound in Gaston County into the Charlotte area, or I-77 northbound from South Carolina and South Charlotte this morning. And then also Matthews still having slow traffic on I-485 inner loop in that area. So let's go to some of these accidents this morning. This crash on I-85 northbound, it is improving but still causing a lot of delays. The shoulder is blocked on I-85 northbound at Main Street. The right lane was blocked, now it is moved to the shoulder, but we're seeing a lot more red going even further closer to Charlotte, even more northbound. So we'll see if there's any new accidents that may have popped up in this area, but right now it's not being shown. We'll go to some of these other incidents this morning. Independence Boulevard West between Albemarle Road and Eastway still showing up as red, but the backup has lessened a little bit. We're still seeing a lot of orange, but not as much red, not much stop and go traffic in the area, so that could be improving right now. A traffic light malfunction just popped up on Ray Road at I-485, so that is a recent incident, but not impacting traffic a whole lot. A medium impact at this accident, Sharon Amity Road at Randolph Road. And then Tuckasegee Road at Mulberry Church Road. This is just north of I-85 and Billy Graham Parkway, but not causing that much of a backup. And then going to the closer to the Uptown area, Tondo Avenue at North Graham Street, just northeast of Uptown. And then lastly, just south of Uptown, southeast, East Boulevard at Kenilworth Avenue. So this is a quick blitz of all the accidents on the map right now. Drive safely and give yourself plenty of time.
Check this out. An AI-powered robotic calf is approaching shoppers in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. The robot calf goes by the name Charlie XC Cow. It's designed by PETA, that's People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. The organization says the cow will ask people, quote, "Are you wearing my mother?" PETA said that cow is designed to call attention to the ill treatment of animals by the leather industry.
Charlie XC Cow is engineered to inspire empathy in humans and challenge them to consider the real calves and cows behind the leather industry. With so many fashionable and warm vegan materials available everywhere, ripping the skin from an animal's back to create a wallet, bag, or pair of shoes is completely unnecessary.
Cow also does a celebratory dance whenever someone says they are wearing accessories made of vegan leather. Charlie XC Cow there.
You're looking at me like I'll have a comment.
You don't have one. We don't have one.
You know, I will say it definitely stops you in your tracks.
Yes.
If I saw that coming down the sidewalk, I would be like, wow, it looks nothing like a cow, but that's okay. Check this out. Did you know that cats, just like humans, have a predominant hand, or in their case, a paw? Studies show there's no universal rule, but individual cats often have a preference for one or the other. Studies have shown female cats, they tend to favor their right paw. Male cats tend to use the left. The preference shows up in things they do every day, like reaching for food, going downstairs. and may even give us clues about a cat's emotions and stress.
That I did not know.
That's interesting.
It is.
Cats are interesting. They've come into my life in the last year. And
I was going to say, you have a comment about that, huh?
I know, I do. They're sweet animals, but they're mysteries. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
Dogs are. Cats, you don't.
And they don't care to share. Like, they just live in their own lane.
That's right. That's right. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break as we take a live look right now over uptown. And coming up in just about a minute, we're going to have another check of your forecast, including that forecast head into the big weekend here. Also, another check of your traffic. Keep it right here. The latest headlines at 7:30 on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. High temperatures in the mid-80s today. Mix of clouds and sunshine. A breezy day with wind gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Slightly cooler than yesterday, but hey, I'm splitting hairs. I'm talking about 1 degree. Afternoon, still a little bit of steam in the air, and then we have temperatures in the lower to the mid-80s for a bulk of the afternoon hours. Slightest chance for a little bit of rain either side of 6 o'clock as we're heading into the evening. Our rainfall chances will remain isolated today, isolated again tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, but then Saturday into Sunday, really things start to ramp up. Saturday also has a low chance for severe storms now, and our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast showing that temperatures are going to get a little bit cooler as a cold front pushes through Saturday night heading into Sunday, where the timing of that keeps on getting later and later, and that's going to allow for a wetter morning on Sunday, but we should be clearing out for the afternoon. Either side of 80 degrees, though, heading in the middle of next week as we dry out by Tuesday. Destiny, how's your morning commute looking?
It's definitely a busy morning commute right now. If you are about to head out on the roads, please take care, because this is an idea of what some of our interstates look like. I-77 near Carowinds is backed up this morning, and this is a look at some of the congestion that you'll be dealing with. The biggest backup, though, is on I-85, northbound near Gastonia this morning. The shoulder is blocked at I-85 northbound at Main Street.
7:30 now, your Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us on WCNC Plus. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Happening today, it is your chance to weigh in on Charlotte's big transit plan. City leaders say we're closer than ever to locking down the support needed. And yet a few hurdles remain, including winning over communities most impacted by that plan.
This spring, Charlotte leaders are busy pushing state lawmakers to sign off on the city's sweeping multi-billion-dollar transit plan. But community advocates say there's another group they need to worry about.
If this transit plan is going to pass, it needs black voters. Nothing in Charlotte-Mecklenburg passes without the majority of black voters supporting it. No bond, no tax, no referendum. Nada.
Colette Forrest runs the Charlotte Black Voter Project, representing nearly 250,000 voters.
It sounds like to me that you're saying the black community has almost been an afterthought when it comes to this transit plan.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better myself.
Tonight, the group is hosting a transit town hall featuring the mayor, Congresswoman Alma Adams, and others. Forrest argues the best parts of the plan, like a commuter rail, benefit Charlotte's wealthier northern suburbs.
Why do we have to be regulated to bus? Why can't we reimagine what transit looks like and have light rail in the black communities?
But the two bills currently up for debate in Raleigh limit the city's investment in rail lines. In order to get Republican support in the General Assembly, Charlotte's plan must also focus on roads and more bus service.
It will represent significant new investment and enhancements to the region's transit system.
Once the state signs off, only then voters will get to say on a half-cent sales tax put on the November ballot. But a key voting bloc could be in limbo.
We're tired of being an afterthought.
Tonight's transit town hall, hosted by the Charlotte area Black Voter Project, happening at 6 o'clock, Weeping Willow AME Zion Church. If you don't know, that's over on Milton Road in East Charlotte. Colette makes the point to me that, you know, you talk about communities of color are disproportionately more likely to use some of these transit options.
Use public transportation, yes.
And if they're not being included in some of these conversations, what's the point?
Right, and then you're going to be asked to help pay for it.
Of course.
And it's not going to be available for you.
Of course. So the meeting's tonight if you want to go.
All right, let's check in with Chris now to get an update on our forecast. Not so great for loving life, but another beautiful day for us in the 80s.
Yeah, I want to go through this. I just want to show you our storm fuel. So starting today, we start to see some of it off towards the west, but our severe weather still lays a little bit further to the west as well. But then we start to see this really fluctuate. So we'll see this on and off through the coming days. That means that most afternoons and evenings are going to be your best chance for rain. And today and tomorrow are really no different for that sentiment just in general. So keep that in mind. Today is the first day that maybe you want to keep the umbrella handy just because of the on and off showers that could potentially be joining us. For today, our high temperatures will reach the mid-80s, just a degree cooler than what we had yesterday. All in all, not too bad, not too shabby. Mix of cloud and sunshine with, I think, more clouds to end the day. Overall, we're going to have winds that I think are sustained anywhere from about 12 to 15 miles per hour, but then some gusts could get as high as 24 miles per hour. Our day and night time rain chances, you notice that some bars are a little bit higher than others. That means rain's going to become more scattered, more numerous Saturday night, and Sunday. I've been mentioning that I've been tracking this front. And this front, every time I get in to start forecasting, is slower and slower behind. So what that was doing, that's keeping the rain later and later. So before it was looking more like, hey, Friday night to Saturday was going to be the wettest period. Oh, no, actually, it's going to be Saturday. Now it's Saturday night. If it continues to slow down, that's actually great news for love and life. Then it's just the typical pop-up showers and storms. But still, this is actually turning to the worst case scenario, what's happening this weekend. I'll get to that in 1 second. You have spotty showers that are already seen on the map well west of us, further in Georgia and central Tennessee. Those are going to move their way into our area by about the middle to late afternoon, so we'll have some hit or miss rain showers at that point, and then maybe a light shower overnight. Now we get ready for round two, each and every afternoon. And we've seen this before. There's a front that's pretty close to us, so it's going to have enough lift. We'll have enough heat and humidity to rise up so some natural storms can start to form on their own. Just a general chance for thunderstorms, even though that one looks a little threatening, a little bow to that one. But I think it's just going to be a general. You could maybe have a strong thunderstorm that pops up mid to late afternoon on Friday. Then after that, it seems like we kind of exhaust some things. So an outside chance for rain, but it looks to be mainly Friday afternoon's your best chance for the near term. term. So our concert forecast shows that any of the earlier acts from about 2 to 6 has a better chance. Benson Boone at 8 o'clock and Gwen Stefani to close out your Friday, looking A-OK. Now, our futurecast on Saturday, really suspect, because at this point, we're waiting for the front to arrive. At this point, I think we have the highest instability. If we see sunshine, that's not a good case in scenario, so it might be late morning. It will feel a little steamy. It's not too bad. So if you're trying to hit up something outside, go on a walk, head to the pool, you might be okay from about 10 to noon. Then after that, clouds start to increase, and then this could happen. Pop-up showers and storms. And I would not be surprised if some of these are starting to trigger a severe thunderstorm warning or two. But what's going to happen is we're going to have a prefrontal boundary that's going to start to trigger during the middle of the afternoon, but it depends where you are. It's going to be enough lift that some areas are going to see rain shower after rain shower, storm after storm, while others are going to have a drier Saturday. One thing that we can't miss is when the front finally arrives, because heading into your Saturday evening, you still have scattered showers and storms, but the main bulk of rain, it's going to rain for hours. Now, notice the time. That's 9 o'clock. If this comes to fruition, likely there's thunder and lightning going on here. That's going to be a big time issue for Love and Life and even the Kendrick Lamar concert that's happening at 7 o'clock. So this is one thing that we really have to watch. We really need this to delay itself until about midnight, which is still a possibility. That'll jog its way into your Sunday morning before finally clearing out. So boy, do we have a lot to go. So just letting you know, on and off showers possible through Petey Pablo, Ludacris, Pitbull, and Weezer. But I'm hoping this scenario happens, that most of that rain happens after the concerts. As far as what happens after that, it depends on what model you look at. As of right now, it looks like it's mainly going to end on Sunday morning, taking a break for maybe we have another round of rain Sunday evening into Monday. Whew, that was a lot, right? Well, today is the warmest day going forward over the next 7, back down to the mid-70s on Sunday, and then either side of 80 degrees for a simpler and drier forecast Tuesday and Wednesday. Coming up next, we have Destiny with traffic. How's it looking, my friend?
Yeah, it's definitely a busy traffic morning right now. I want to start with this camera shot of our South Carolina camera showing I-77 near Carowinds. A lot of congestion right now, as you can see, and this is not at the only place that there's congestion right now. It's really across a lot of our interstates, but it's definitely a lot on I-77 northbound coming all the way out of South Carolina from Fort Mill all the way into South Charlotte. But let's start with this crash that we've been following on I-85 northbound in Gaston County. Still has the shoulder blocked I-85 northbound at Main Street in Lowell. Definitely a lot more red and orange that we're seeing along I-85. So the impacts are significant, but the accident is not actually in the roadway. So no lanes are blocked, but still slow traffic in the area. And it's a usual slow traffic spot too. Independence Boulevard West between Albemarle Road and Eastway Drive, still a serious crash that is causing a lot of heavy traffic for those driving into Uptown on Independence. And then we do have some new things to talk about. Water main work is happening on Monroe Road North at Eaton Road. The inbound lane is blocked, and this is something that is supposed to be easing up around later this afternoon. So that could start to cause issues for those who travel through that area for their morning commute. And then we have an accident that has the right lane blocked on westbound Harris Boulevard before Old Statesville Road. So that's in North Charlotte this morning.
Thanks, Destiny. The Kings Mountain community is grieving this morning after a deadly fire ripped through an apartment complex this week. Those flames destroyed multiple units Monday morning at the Green Tree Apartments, taking the life of 45-year-old Evelyn Blackney. Witnesses tell us the flames were fast-moving. Many had to leave everything behind to escape.
The apartment caught fire like right next to me, and everybody just kind of huddled together in little groups, just kind of waiting for everything to calm down.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation this morning.
North Carolina Governor Josh Stein urging lawmakers to protect programs that help with early childhood education. He attended a child care conference yesterday where he spoke about the importance of programs like Smart Start and Head Start. They provide essential services like child care, health screenings, and meals. WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley dives deeper in what would happen if federal funding is cut.
April McSwain moved to this South Charlotte neighborhood more than 30 years ago. It's the same neighborhood where programs like Head Start sat in the center of her community before closing, and the building was recently demolished.
Bethlehem Center is a historical place over here in Southside Home neighborhood and Lucy Gets, because a lot of families over here, their children went to that school. And I can reflect on that because My children used to go there.
In a letter to Congress, Governor Stein, Lieutenant Governor Hunt, and State Superintendent Green urged Congress to act. This after the Trump administration proposed cuts to the Department of Health and Human Services. That includes eliminating funding for Head Start programs that McSwain says would be a huge loss.
Really sad the way that the world is going. We just have to come together as people and try to do something about it.
The federal program provides free and low-cost child care to low-income families.
No, they do not need to do away with this.
More than 19,500 children in the state of North Carolina rely on Head Start and Early Head Start. The program also provides access to health screenings and healthy foods. McSwain, who's a cafeteria worker for CMS, understands why it's so important for children to have healthy meals.
Some, families, they just don't have the funds.
That was Siobhan Riley reporting. An investigation is underway this morning after a local mom says a CMS kindergarten teacher was allegedly caught kissing her daughter in the bathroom. The mother tells us her daughter, who is nonverbal and autistic, loved going to school at Blythe Elementary in Huntersville. But when she noticed changes in her behavior, she went to speak with school administrators. Then, days later, the principal called her and told her what happened.
I went to the school. I took her out. Her father came to the school and spoke to them because I couldn't even ask questions. I was so upset because I knew something was happening.
We're told another staff member reported the incident and the teacher was removed from the class, but not the school itself. We reached out to the school board, who tells us it cannot comment on the investigation.
This morning, Rock Hill Police want you to be aware of a new scam. It's called smishing. Scammers target victims with text messages about unpaid tolls and a link to pay it off. But police are warning you not to click on the link because it's going to capture your banking information, allowing those scammers to take your money from your account. And speaking of those scams, Mecklenburg County officials hosting what they're calling a scam jam today. The free event helps seniors learn how to spot and then report those scams. If you go, you're going to hear from law enforcement, legal aids, different state agencies. The event starts at 10 this morning over at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church in North Charlotte. You do need to register.
Now to a topic that we are continuing to follow, the cooperation between immigration officials and local law enforcement. The North Carolina House advanced a bill this week requiring sheriffs to work more closely with federal officials on ICE arrests.
Now the federal government is getting involved. WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay breaks down what comes next.
This bill is in line with President Donald Trump's recent executive order threatening funding cuts to jurisdictions that don't work with ICE. U.S. Senator Thom Tillis says North Carolina has multiple examples of this and that he plans to introduce federal legislation to stop it. A heated hour-long debate on the North Carolina House floor.
And will be sent to the Senate engrossed.
Ending in the advancement of House Bill 318 to expand the list of offenses requiring local law enforcement's cooperation with ICE. But the debate doesn't stop here.
Why are we doing the federal government's job for them?
The back and forth mostly centered around Mecklenburg County and Sheriff Gary McFadden.
I expect him to do that because that's protecting my community too, my children too.
Representative Carla Cunningham, a Democrat from Charlotte, voting with the Republicans and against her fellow Mecklenburg County representatives like Jordan Lopez.
The moment they start chipping away at due process for people who are immigrants is the moment we open the door for them to chip away at due process for native-born Americans.
He agrees with local advocates like the Carolina Migrant Network that this is not due process, but is an overstep.
There is no federal requirement for what is under federal law voluntary sheriff-ICE collaboration.
But that might soon change. On social media, Thom Tillis, one of North Carolina's 2 senators, says he would soon introduce legislation to hold sanctuary jurisdictions accountable. His team says 10 North Carolina institutions are considered non-cooperative, including Mecklenburg County and Watauga County.
But unfortunately, somewhere around 5 or so sheriffs in our state, if not outright violating the law, or certainly violating the spirit that was behind that law.
Representative Lopez says both sides of the aisle can agree on safety, but that this bill would not accomplish that.
Wouldn't change much more except adding more crimes for which people would then be subject to being held, violating their due process, and then, again, spending more taxpayer dollars on behalf of the federal government.
For now, the debate will continue to the Senate, both state and federal. This isn't the only state bill addressing detainer enforcement. Senate Bill 153 would be similar, but would add those requirements to other departments like the Highway Patrol and SBI. Back to you.
This weekend, Symphony Park will be transformed for a vibrant celebration of Mexican culture.
The annual Cinco de Mayo festival returns this Sunday, bringing food, music, and a lot of great traditions. WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris now live with more. Miles.
Yeah, well, expect this place to be flooded with people come Sunday, as this year will actually mark as the 5th year that Charlotte's been able to host this festival. Now, obviously, organizers, they want people to come out and celebrate the Mexican culture with this Cinco de Mayo festival, but they also want people to come out here and learn more about the Mexican heritage.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo the real way.
It just got bigger and bigger each year.
Charlotte's Cinco de Mayo festival has grown into one of the city's most anticipated cultural events of the spring.
This year, actually, is going to be the churro contest.
Angela Torres is one of the event organizers and breaks down what visitors can look forward to this year.
A lot of the highlights of the festival are going to showcase folkloric dancers, and you're going to see their traditional costumes and kind of like what that's made of. We also have our mariachis. And just people get to enjoy a different culture.
The annual festival offers tons of entertainment, food, and activities for the family.
The festival does a very good job at showcasing kind of like little things about Mexico's culture.
An important element for organizers, the educational component surrounding the holiday, which is why they're making sure that every piece of Mexico's diverse culture is represented.
Based on history, every state is like combined of different groups of people, and because of that, that's going to be reflected on the way that they dress. That's going to be reflected on their native languages, on their dances,
showing the tradition behind Mexico's heritage, all within the Queen City. Ben and Lisa, this festival is rapidly growing. This event is rapidly growing through Charlotte. They actually started this a couple of years ago in Plaza Midwood, but they actually outgrew that space over time. Now, again, organizers are expecting thousands of people to come out here and enjoy themselves, but also, again, learn more about the history and the culture when it comes to Cinco de Mayo. Ben and Lisa.
All right.
Miles, thanks. And speaking of things going on, we are just 24 hours away from the Love and Life Music Fest happening in Uptown. Thousands expected to pack First Ward Park to see acts like Gwen Stefani, Pitbull, Dave Matthews, Petey Pablo, you name it, they're there. But before all that fun can start, a reminder for folks heading into Uptown. Love and Life is going to have a clear bag policy in place, sort of like if you go to the stadium. Several road closures already in place this morning, including 7th and 8th Streets between Brevard and Caldwell Streets. And then starting today at 9 a.m. in just over an hour, streets in the immediate area of the festival will be blocked off as well. Officials tell us roads will reopen next Tuesday before morning rush hour.
We saw some of the people there wearing those clear ponchos. Probably a good idea to pack a poncho if you're heading out to Love and Life this weekend.
Oh, 100%, especially on Saturday. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I had to make a quick little shift in the forecast for new data that came in and also looking at day 3 from the Storm Prediction Center. So Saturday, big time acts, as we just mentioned. I'm officially going to call us a weather alert day at this point because we have 2 rounds of showers and storms. One during your Saturday afternoon, one during your Saturday evening. So I'm just breaking this to you here on WCNC Plus because not only we're so focused on the rain, think about what happens in an outdoor event. If there's lightning, if you hear thunder, they're going to delay things. And we're looking at widespread lightning possibilities during the afternoon first, but especially later on in the evening. Now, things can also shift in the right direction. We'll still stay weather alert. It'll just be for later on in the night. But right now, we're seeing some of the heaviest rain arrive right during the middle of the concert time. So what do you need to do? Bring a poncho and just stay weather aware and stay up on this. So right now it looks like our weather impact window really opens up after 2 o'clock. So we're going to have a lot of lightning associated with this, strong winds and heavy rain. Now, a few individual cells during the afternoon could produce some hail. Tornadoes are a far distant threat. It's a near zero at this point, but we'll see what happens when it gets a little bit closer. So here's the big change. For one, we have a low risk now for severe storms for our eastern viewing area. So all the mid-Atlantic states will have this potential as this front is starting to near in. Here's a look at the rain that we're going to see. And I'm going to quickly fly through it. We have a chance for rain first here for the mountains. Mountains, by the way, you have the outside chance for maybe a strong thunderstorm, maybe some gusty winds associated with it. For your Friday, this is just a general thunderstorm chance. If you're going to see anything, I think it's really about mid to late afternoon that things start to pop. We will hit a little bit of a lull heading into the evening, but those could also jog into the evening hours as well. Let's get to the main event. Check this out. This is looking like a pretty good setup heading in the morning. You have sunshine, which isn't a good thing for what we're seeing here. Strong winds come out of the southwest and a front position off towards the west. So everything's starting to add up together that we're going to have some stronger cells developing after 2 or right around 2. And some of these could train one another, meaning that one pops up and a new one forms behind it. That's what leads to flash flooding. And it depends where this axis is going to set up, but it's right around the 485 loop. So that's the first round, but then you see widespread rain that continues to push through during the middle of the evening. Now, the good news is where we're anticipating most of this rain to fall, I think at least it's going to limit the severity of it. So it's mainly just a rain event, maybe a lightning event that's associated with it, but it's too close to too much going on. We're talking about a big concert at Bank of America Stadium. We're talking about Love and Life, and then there's even a Knights game right around 1 o'clock. So Uptown's very busy, and things aren't trending in a good direction. The rainfall that we're technically going to see over the next couple of days, measly, barely anything. The mountains, maybe you could see an inch to inch and a half at most over the next couple of days, but the rest of the area far less. So I think we could pick up maybe up to an inch from a few of those cells during the afternoon, over an inch when all is said and done. But there's just too many individual things happening as far as the cells pop up, hit or miss rain and storms, that there's still a lot of big question marks that are happening for this coming Saturday. Stay weather aware as that gets a little bit closer today. I think you're mainly dry across the Charlotte area, but right around the 6 o'clock hour, heading into the early evening, you will have a chance for a passing shower or a storm. Today's also the warmest day going forward. Yesterday was 87, so yesterday was technically the warmest of the week. 86 today, 84 tomorrow, and then we're back down to the mid 70s on Sunday. Sunday right now looks like it could be a wet start, and then we crack open some sunshine for the afternoon, and then either side of 80 degrees drying out in the middle of next week. Destiny, how's traffic looking?
Traffic is definitely a lot heavier than it was this time an hour ago. We are seeing a lot of heavy traffic in the South Charlotte area on I-77. This is near Woodlawn Road on I-77 this morning, and you'll definitely want to give yourself plenty of time if you are getting ready to head out to work or school or wherever you are going. But if we go into the full traffic map here, the traffic flow map, you can see again that congestion just is not lightening up. We're still seeing a lot of heavy traffic, I-77 northbound all the way from South Carolina. I-85 northbound here in Gastonia, that crash that was near Lowell has cleared, completely cleared, but still a lot of backups as that is just the usual this time of the morning. But as you can see, depending on where you're coming from, you'll have to deal with a lot of heavy traffic on the interstates. But this is our newest incident on I-85 northbound, but this time in the Charlotte area at Beatty's Ford Road, exit 37. Right now, the backup is supposed to be about a mile to exit 36, but we're not seeing a whole lot of that, just the traffic on I-77. And then there's also a disabled vehicle on Beatty's Ford Road at I-85. So if that's related, not sure, but just know that there's 2 incidents in that area. This accident is still in place, a newer accident on westbound Harris Boulevard just before Old Statesville Road. This is in North Charlotte. The right lane is blocked, as you can see in this image. It's kind of blocked by the trees, but right lane is blocked there. And then we have a couple of things going on in South Charlotte. Water main work going on Monroe Road North at Eaton Road. That has one inbound lane blocked. We also have a new accident in South Charlotte, Runnymede Lane at Michael Baker Place.
Time for On This Day in History. The year was 1930, May 1st, and Pluto was named by 11-year-old British girl Venetia Burney. That's right, she was 11 years old. Pluto was discovered February 18th, 1930 by American astronomer Clyde Tombaugh. Here's a picture of Venetia. The idea was out there. A couple of suggestions were made, but they said, yes, Venetia, you are given credit as naming Pluto. And there's that now dwarf planet Pluto. So on this day in history, May 1st, 1930, Pluto got its name. And that's On This Day in History for you.
Well, 7:53 right now here on WCNC Plus. And did you know your favorite emoji might reveal about you more than your therapist even? A new study lists different personality traits for people who use excessive emojis, and it's not good.
So if you're a guy and you use a lot of emojis, that's so true. The study revealed that manipulative behavior and emotional roller coaster vibes, for girls, their carefully thought out use of emojis correlated with their self-image and a desire to manage how others perceive them.
We don't have a therapist here, thank goodness, because they could go on for a while, the 3 of us. But we do have a look at our most used emojis and which ones we think fit our personality.
Ben.
This is you, Ben Thompson.
Yes, it is. How about
what?
that? I'm a lover, not a fighter. Don't you forget it. But the one I feel like describes me best would be this one. Take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's so you.
I've seen that look.
That's so you.
Most of the times when I do things.
All
right. As for me, so the therapist says you're immature because this is my most go-to one. But I use it as kind of a dang type of thing. Oh, I can't show up. Poop. I throw that up there. Because most of the time when I use emojis, I pretty much use what is represented. But for my most one, the one that represents my personality, bleh.
That's you.
That's it.
That
right
is
there,
so
all the way,
you.
100%.
All right, let's see what's next. Most use, because I'm usually laughing with my friends. Like, that's so me, right? All right, but that's like my favorite emoji, because, right, you think you have things together, you're all put together. You're not. It's the struggle bus.
I actually got that from you this morning.
When you were stuck in traffic.
On your way into work. I got that from you this morning.
There you go.
All right, folks, I'm going to take a quick break as we take a live look right now over Uptown on this first morning of May. Quite a nice one. Chris is going to have another check of your forecast. I don't think he's going to use any of those emojis.
Nope.
Maybe. I don't know.
Raindrop.
There
for the weekend.
And Destiny has a check of your Thursday morning commute. That's coming your way. And we're back with the headlines at the top of the hour at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. Keep it here.
Well, good morning, everybody. Our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast shows today is one of the warmer days, similar to yesterday, but our futurecast does have us under a general chance for storms. That's what this dark blue is, but anyone in the yellow, barely. The mountains have been slowly or slightly put into that chance for severe storms. It's right along the Tennessee border, so you could have some heavier rain definitely impacted. Starting about 2 to 4 o'clock is the first onset. This line looks like it is going to start to weaken as it gets a little bit close to the I-77 corridor, heading into the early evening, but really late afternoon, early evening, the greater Charlotte area to Statesville will have a chance for a brief shower to pass before we see another round of rain head in tomorrow. So our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast shows that we're locked and loaded in the mid-80s today and tomorrow. Each day we'll have a chance for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, more so on your Friday. And then heading into Saturday, Saturday now has a chance for strong thunderstorms during the afternoon with widespread rain during the evening, which could affect some weekend plans. Destiny, what's going on traffic-wise?
Right now, we're seeing a lot of heavy traffic on our interstates. This is I-77 near Woodlawn in South Charlotte. Stop and go traffic on one of the sides here. I'm not sure if that is eastbound or northbound side, but as you can see, it's slow and stop and go traffic. Seeing a lot of red and orange across the map this morning. Our newest incident is on I-85 northbound in North Charlotte at Beatty's Ford Road.
Streaming live at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. New this morning, we are getting new details about the future of artificial intelligence in schools and what it could mean for your kids. CMS just released the results of an AI survey it conducted earlier this year.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane now live for us here on WCNC Plus with a breakdown of some of these results and what comes next. Richard.
Hey, good morning, Ben and Lisa. Good Thursday morning to all our pluses out there. AI is here, folks. It is here, so it's best that we make use of it. That's what CMS is trying to make sure to do. And as far as their staff, they say they want AMI. One key takeaway in a recent survey, 66% of teachers say their staff says they want AI. They want to learn it. They also say they would like it to be taught as far as workshops and virtual sessions. Now, that's part of a key takeaway. The 10,000 voices, including students, families, and staff, gave feedback through surveys, focus groups, and interviews from that survey on the vision of the future of AI in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Of those surveyed, 79% say they've already used AI at home. Nearly half say they used it at work. 17% say their students say they've used it as well. Now, but when it comes to classrooms, opinions are divided, with school staff more cautious about AI and district leaders more optimistic. More hopeful, we should say. The top concerns: academic integrity, student privacy, and how AI could affect social skills. Still, most agree AI should enhance learning, not replace it. And also, parents want students to learn how AI works, when to trust it, and what's ethical and what's not. We spoke with CMS Superintendent Crystal Hill earlier this school year. She told us the district has already started working on getting staff familiar with some of the benefits of artificial intelligence.
So we've done a lot of education with our leaders in terms of understanding AI, understanding the potential, how it can be a benefit to us as educators, as well to our students.
Yeah, and as far as involvement, CMS says it hopes that parents will continue to be involved with AI and continue to work along with the district on implementing this system. As for students, a lot of students say they already use AI. For instance, a lot of students say they use AI for SAT prep and things of that nature. And as far as getting this finalized and a policy and procedure in place, they're looking to have all of this done as far as a formalized policy and procedure by July of this coming year. We're right here in Charlotte. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
A beautiful day today. I think you're going to see more clouds than we did yesterday, and it'll be just slightly cooler because of that. We have 67 degrees already starting off right around Charlotte, and Lincoln. You've caught back up to 66. You dropped down to 59 this morning, and then 54 right around Boone, and then 70. Look at you, Concord, overachieving. Way to go. 86 degrees. That's our high for today across the greater Charlotte area. Right around 83 for Hickory and Statesville, and then the mid 70s up in the high country. And I want to focus in right here, Boone, Banner Elk, naming a few locations. You are barely on the cusp for a chance for a severe storm. So you're seeing this little branch of rain over here. This is going to hit a favorable environment, kind of uplift around the mountains. I think we're going to have a higher chance as that trough is dancing around that could lead to a stronger thunderstorm. So our futurecast, this one right here, the dark blue represents everyone who has just a chance for a thunderstorm. Anyone in the yellow, that's a chance for a severe thunderstorm. So it's really from Asheville up into Boone. Everyone outside of that, I think it's just general heavy rain and a burst of it, but it's mainly the further west that you go. Shelby, Morganton, I'm going to name you, including the outside the mountains, that you can have an outside strong storm associated with this. Sometimes you can have a public statement that says, hey, this is a strong thunderstorm, gusts up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. That's not the question, but once you get to about 4 to 6, that's where it gets a little bit closer to the I-77 corridor. So I'm not discounting that you're not going to see rain. I'm just saying it looks like the system really weakened substantially. So closer to Statesville, to Hickory to the north, better chance for this, say, compared to Charlotte down to the south. I think Charlotte maybe could have a brief shower either side of 6 o'clock, and then this is past and gone. Checking out how much rain can come to this. I think up to about a ½ inch possible, but we're seeing a lot more trace values to barely anything at all from Charlotte up to Statesville over to Gastonia. So it looks like a lot of that gets cut up before it passes I-77, or at least right at the corridor. Our rainfall chances turn over to scattered come Saturday and Sunday. And simply that means really an increase from 20 to 30 to around that 40 to 50 percentile. And I think I might even move Saturday to likely, the way things that are looking. For sure, it's a likely chance that we're going to have rain on Saturday night. So let's go to round 2 first. Round 2 is mainly going to be your Friday afternoon. Not saying you're not going to see it during the evening, but it looks like we have pop-up showers and storms middle of the afternoon. Some of these could have a powerful punch of rain, also some gusty winds. Not really a designated severe threat associated with these, but it looks like things start to wind down. Still a chance for a remnant storm heading into the evening, but this is a more favorable look for your Friday evening acts if you're going to day 1 of Love and Life. Here's the problem. Moving into day 3 of the forecast, day 2 of the festival, I've now made your Saturday a weather alert day after 2 o'clock because you have a chance for lightning, strong winds, even an outside hail chance. Heavy rain as well, where heavy rain is going to be an impact on its own when you have an event, or should I say events of this magnitude heading into the evening. Also, Storm Prediction Center backing me up saying that, hey, we have a low chance for severe storms on top of that. So it's not just the rain, it's also the storm potential. And what happens when you have an outdoor event? I'm talking about a soccer game to a big concert. If you hear thunder, well, when it roars, you're going to have to go indoors and they're going to delay things. So there's going to be a possibility for some delays because of those storms, to keep that in mind. So I have added the weather alert for the back end of our Saturday, really starting during the afternoon. Once this front gets out of here, that's going to jog rain into your Sunday. We have the mid-70s, and then either side of 80 degrees to the middle of next week. As of right now, next Tuesday and Wednesday looks to be the end of our rain chances for a brief stint. That's your weather. Now moving on to traffic. How's it looking, Destiny?
It is a busy traffic morning, and it only gets busier. Whether you are heading to work, heading to school, maybe you're in town for one of the events happening this weekend, you'll want to give yourself plenty of time and just plan for delays. I-77 north and southbound traffic here near Woodlawn Road, and the southbound side is where we're seeing most of the congestion, and we've been seeing that on the traffic flow map as well. So if you go to the full map here, you can see I-77 north and southbound in South Charlotte, south of Uptown. Very busy this morning. I-85 northbound as well. I-45 near Matthews. Just a lot of areas that we're seeing red and orange at 8 o'clock this morning. But the only accident that we have on our interstates right now is at I-85 northbound at Beatty's Ford Road. There was a disabled vehicle on Beatty's Ford Road at I-85 that has since cleared, so any backups in this area are likely because of this crash. Now going over to East Charlotte, we have an image here of a disabled vehicle blocking the left turn lane at Harris Boulevard South at Hickory Grove Road. That is a new incident. We also have an accident in Southeast Charlotte, Eastway Drive at Woodlawn Drive. We have emergency vehicles, CMPD on scene here for this accident. And then going up to North Charlotte, this one's been on the map for a while now. Accident has a right lane blocked at westbound Harris Boulevard before Old Statesville Road. And then just a reminder about Love and Life right now. So there might be a little bit of congestion in Uptown because of these closures until happening until Tuesday. So this is all around First Ward Park.
Thanks, Destiny. This morning, President Trump has one word for Americans: patience. That is the message from the White House as new data shows GDP growth is shrinking.
It comes as Democrats bite back, saying the president has failed to make life more affordable for Americans. NBC's Alice Barr now with the latest from Washington.
It's going to be about 40%.
Under pressure from some troubling economic news, a Commerce Department report showing the U.S. economy shrank slightly during the first 3 months of the year. President Trump shifting blame.
That's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is the quarterly numbers.
It was a quarter during which President Trump was in office for all but 20 days, and when economists say businesses rushed to buy imports before tariffs kicked in, dragging down U.S. production. Surveys also showing consumer confidence down.
Taking a hit in what Americans expect in the next 6 months. We're talking business conditions, employment prospects, and future income as well.
In some of her most high-profile comments since her election loss, former Vice President Kamala Harris saying President Trump owns this economy and his policy moves.
Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession.
The president acknowledging his triple-digit tariffs on China could cause shortages of some goods and higher prices.
Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know. and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
While insisting the payoff will be worth it, pointing to new investments in U.S. manufacturing.
They're really coming in fast.
Overnight, an effort to roll back President Trump's tariffs failed.
Motion to table is agreed to.
In the Senate, though it did have some bipartisan support. The president urging increasingly anxious Americans to be patient as he works to reshape global trade. President Trump also spoke overnight about his administration finally signing a long-anticipated deal to gain access to some of Ukraine's critical minerals and natural resources, saying the U.S. presence in Ukraine could curb Russian President Vladimir Putin while repaying U.S. military aid. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New this morning, former Vice President Kamala Harris made her first public remarks since leaving the White House. Harris was the keynote speaker at the Emerge America event last night. You heard Alice mention it there. It's a nonprofit that seeks and trains women to run for office. During her speech, the former VP criticized President Trump's tariff policies.
Look, some people are describing what's been happening in recent months as absolute chaos. And of course, I understand why. And it's certainly true of those tariffs. Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession. But friends, please let us not be duped into thinking everything is chaos. I know it may feel that way, but understand what we are in fact witnessing is a high-velocity event where a vessel is being used for the swift implementation of an agenda that has been decades in the making.
Harris also slammed the president on his immigration policy and praised Americans for having the courage to speak out.
Time now to connect the dots when we make the news make sense. The fight to bring down prescription drug prices is taking a new turn, and not everybody's on board with this approach. Some health officials say one way to lower drug costs is for Americans to take fewer medications. Let's connect the dots. They say the best way to save money is to avoid getting sick in the first place by eating better and exercising. But experts warn that oversimplifies the issue. One CDC report finds 3 in 4 U.S. adults had at least one chronic disease in 2023. And the prevalence in young adults is climbing from 52% to 59% in the last 10 years. While studies show healthier people have lower medical costs, critics say blaming patients misses the bigger issue. The price is set by drug makers. The U.S. has some of the highest drug prices in the world. And even if people take fewer prescriptions, companies can still raise prices. One report found drug makers raised prices on 963 name brand drugs in January 2025, up from 896 the year before. Many of those are drugs that people need for chronic issues like diabetes and heart conditions. Experts agree that healthy habits help, but say medication is often essential and drug pricing still needs major reform. And that is connecting the dots. 8:13 right now on WCNC Plus. Happening today, Vice President J.D. Vance expected to make a stop in South Carolina. He's going to join the administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to tour and deliver remarks at the Nucor Steel Berkeley plant. It's a manufacturing plant about 30 minutes north of Charleston. Vance will highlight what the Trump administration is calling America's manufacturing renaissance.
New this morning, a baseball fan is in the hospital after a scary fall at a Major League game last night. The fan fell from the stands at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. They were sitting in the front row of the outfield, up 21 feet from the field. Members of the Pirates training staff, along with emergency medical staff on hand, ran on the field to help. Those who witnessed the incident described what they saw.
To me, what it looked like is someone had a little too much and just simply over rejoiced and fell off. It doesn't look like anything too crazy happened, except he jumped up, flipped over the railing, and unfortunately that was what we saw. It's a good reminder to watch what you drink. It's a good reminder to not get too crazy, to not get too caught up in the moment, because it could cost you your life at the end of the day.
The Pittsburgh Pirates released a statement on X, in short, sending thoughts and prayers to the injured person. According to police, the man was taken to a local hospital in critical condition. It's not clear yet why he fell.
Turning back to the weather, and while things are looking okay here in Charlotte, at least for today, other parts of the country getting hit by severe storms. Chris joins us right now with the details.
And this, I think, is about the fourth time that we've had a case and scenario this year that we've seen widespread flooding because of rain after rain. So more deadly flooding in Oklahoma. And you can see in this video, this video actually has a family evacuating, seeking higher ground because of how high the water is. And a slow-moving system dropped record rainfall across much of the southern parts of the United States, including northern Texas and Oklahoma. First responders actually conducted a number of water rescues associated with this. The National Weather Service has issued a warning saying excessive rainfall could produce flash floods across the southern plains once again, because you can already see how saturated everything is. Here is the setup, the case and scenario. You have a stationary front that has just been sitting there. So you have this one little branch of rain that's outrunning the front. Now more rain is going to trigger right along this front. That's the worst thing. Whenever you have moisture and something to lift it up, that could lead to some of the worst flooding situations that you can have. And that we've seen this a number of times so far, and I've counted 4 that you've had historic rainfall for a setup just like this. So now you have a low to a medium threat in the same area here in Oklahoma City and Oklahoma in general and northern Texas. This will start to slide its way a little bit further off towards the northeast too, where we have a chance for widespread rain here in Pittsburgh that was just dealing with some flooding as of recent. That area of the flood concern expands across the eastern side of Texas over into Arkansas in Louisiana by day 2, and it's even on our doorstep in the northwestern side of the Carolinas by your Saturday. And Saturday is really a change in the forecast. Here's what's going on. Any rain that we see is under what's called the warm sector. It's warmer, it's a little bit more humid, and oftentimes you can trigger a shower or a storm, especially if some sort of dashed line appears. Oh, what was that? A dashed line. This dashed line is a trough, and a trough is just a small area of low pressure, and simply what that means is it's something that allows that heat and moisture to rise easier than it would on its own. So that's what's going to be the culprit for a shower and storm tomorrow afternoon. Today it's a little bit closer to the front and also a trough as well. And then for your Saturday, round 1 that we could see 2 of that day is associated because of that setup. So our severe weather outlook, also widespread medium threats from Oklahoma to Mississippi, and then some smack dab right in the middle of Ohio to Kentucky. And then that line starts to move really on Friday heading into Saturday. And that's why we've had such difficulty for our forecast and why it changes each and every day, is because that front wasn't moving. We didn't know when it was going to move, and it's those type of setups that are always the most dangerous. Well, it looks like it is going to be on our doorstep by Saturday night. So before it was looking like Friday heading into Saturday, now it's more of a Saturday night into Sunday. But all the mid-Atlantic states, including all the Carolinas, now under a low risk for severe storms. So I officially have gone weather alert for Saturday, mainly just because of how busy it is with 2 big concerts going on, and there's even a Knights game and a bunch of other events for your Saturday. But lightning, strong winds, heavy rain, even some hail is all going to be a possibility in the impacts that you need to know. So if you do plan to go to a concert, something like that, bring a poncho. I think it's even rain jacket type weather, rain boots, and stay weather aware and stay up on the changing forecast. So I'm going to start with Saturday because this is the big development here. I think the morning, trending dry. You will see the clouds start to increase, but the more sunshine we see, the more unstable things are going to get. So our first round of rain, I think, is going to be after 2 o'clock. That's where we have a few showers and storms starting to flourish. And if we have the necessary fuel with the strong wind out of the southwest, some of these could crank up to severe potential. So that's mid to late afternoon that we're seeing this, but they don't give up right away. We actually start to fill in the gaps as we work away into the evening. At this point, this is the prefrontal. So this is right before the front arrives. That's where you can expect some widespread rain. Here's 9 o'clock. There's 9 to 11. At that point, you're talking about Weezer playing at that point for Love and Life, right in the middle of SZA and Kendrick Lamar at Bank of America. So it really depends, because that isn't just rain. That's also a possibility of some thunderstorms that are embedded with this, and then this will continue to push through heading into midnight. Now, the way things keep on slowing down, this actually could arrive much later through the overnight, which would, 1, lower the severe potential, but 2, also allow for a drier window for any of the concerts or any outdoor concerns. concern. So this isn't set in stone, but as of right now, this is the worst case scenario that I've seen for the concert so far. Our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast has trended in the right direction. High temperatures in the mid 80s today. We're just 1 degree off from what we had yesterday. And going forward for our Guy Roofing, I did move our back end of Saturday into a weather alert criteria just because of the thunderstorms, the amount of people outside, and even the outside chance for a severe storm. That's still very low, but it's still worth mentioning. And then we have the mid to the upper 70s on Sunday and Monday, and then right around 80 degrees with drier air arriving the middle of the week. So we need the rain. It just couldn't come at a worse time for the heaviest that we've seen in about a month. Up next, we have Destiny with traffic. How's it looking? It's usually the busiest time this hour.
It is. Some things have started to lighten up and others have not. So some of our accidents have cleared this morning, but as you can see across the map, still some heavy traffic, especially on I-77 northbound and southbound. But I want to get right into a new crash this morning. An accident involving a CATS bus is on Tyvola Road at Old Pineville Road this morning. It is causing some backups here on Tyvola Road mainly. So that is just east of I-77. There is an image of this accident, which we will show a little bit later, but just know that this is involving a CATS bus, so it's likely to impact traffic for quite a while until crews can work that scene. I-85 northbound at Beatty's Ford Road. This accident is on the interstate, still affecting traffic in the area, but not as much as it was earlier. A little bit of an older crash there. And then some new incidents this morning. This is in South Charlotte, or Southeast Charlotte, Monroe Road at Conference Drive. This is an accident near East Mecklenburg High School, and then going up to the northeast side here, North Tryon Street at Pavilion Boulevard.
Well, trending this morning here on WCNC Plus, Laker fans stunned and heartbroken because their season is now over. LeBron James and Lakers bounced out of the playoffs last night by Minnesota. The Timberwolves dominated the series, winning 4 games to 1.
And the Hornets' Mark Williams is also trending after this simple post on X following the Lakers' loss. Williams just posting a smiley face emoji. If you remember, the Hornets attempted to trade Williams to the Lakers during all the trade drama, but LA rejected that trade with no clear explanation. A historic ballpark in Mooresville is getting a big league makeover, and the city leaders hope it's a game changer. Moore Park has been a cornerstone for youth baseball since the 1990s, but its history stretches back decades, even hosting minor league teams in the 1940s. Now a major renovation is underway, aimed at drawing more events, more visitors, and more investment to the south side of town.
Not only will it give the citizens a place to enjoy a great, Thursday night watching a fantastic baseball game, but also get the community around it to start having a redevelopment as well.
Phase 1 will focus on upgrading the ball field. Phase 2 will transform the roads around it. That project is set to wrap up its first phase by spring of next year. Officials say nearly 300 new parking spaces will help handle the crowds. Check this out. An AI-powered robotic calf is approaching shoppers in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. The robot calf goes by the name Charlie XC Cow. It's designed by PETA, that's People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. The organization says the cow will ask people, "Are you wearing my mother?" PETA said the cow was designed to call attention to the ill treatment of animals by the leather industry.
Charlie XC Cow is engineered to inspire empathy in humans and challenge them to consider the real calves and cows behind the leather industry. With so many fashionable and warm vegan materials available everywhere, ripping the skin from an animal's back to create a wallet, bag, or pair of shoes is completely unnecessary.
The cow also does a celebratory dance whenever someone says they are wearing accessories made of vegan leather.
Well, from cows to cats, check this out. Did you know that cats, just like humans, have a predominant hand, or in their case, a paw? Studies show there's no universal rule for all cats, but individual cats often show a preference in one paw. Studies show female cats usually tend to favor their right paw. Males tend to use their left. This preference shows up in activities like reaching for food, going downstairs, or may even offer clues about a cat's emotions and stress.
I know you have some cats.
I actually have a photo that goes along with this from last night.
Okay.
Showing my male cat, evidently when reaching, uses his right paw.
Huh.
I know you probably can't see this.
And I thought they said the males
This happened last
preferred
night.
the left.
I was grilling chicken, minding my business, and my stray cat comes along.
What's his name?
Heath.
Heath was like, I want some of that.
And he wants that grilled chicken, but with his right paw, not his left. Interesting. So there you go. Heath, a stray we've taken in. He's a sweetheart, though.
And now you have cats.
Now we're cat people. Who knew?
I love it. All right, well, we are going to take a quick break, but you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. All the things you will learn here on our stream.
Good,
Isn't
bad,
it wonderful?
Otherwise. I know.
We're going to have another check of weather and traffic. Chris is going to tell us more about the forecast for today and going into the weekend with a number of events happening and some rain on the way. And of course, Destiny is going to tell us about the morning commute.
Well, good morning, everyone. High temperatures in the mid-80s today. We will see more clouds by the end of the afternoon, especially. So a mix of cloud and sunshine in the meantime. It's called partly cloudy to a partly sunny one. Highs in the mid-80s, just a couple degrees off from what we had yesterday. Love and life, well, you have isolated storms possible in the middle of the afternoon, drier during the evening, and then Saturday on and off rain. It could be heavy at times, even a strong thunderstorm. And then heading into Sunday morning, we're going to see the same type of scenario. Our best rain chances right now shaping up to be on Saturday night, but really Saturday night and Sunday as of right now. Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. If you plan for anything, we are going weather alert for the end of the day on Saturday, starting in the afternoon. We have the warmest day today over the next 7, and then behind the front, we're going to cool down slightly. Mid-70s on Sunday, back to the 50s on Monday morning, and then either side of 80 degrees through the middle of next week. Destiny?
Yeah, it's been a busy morning out there. Pretty much no matter where you're going, you'll probably encounter some congestion on our interstates this morning. So just plan ahead for a lot of this. We've been especially seeing a lot on I-77 northbound in South Charlotte coming up from South Carolina this morning. And we do have a couple of incidents to talk about. Our big three are this accident in South Charlotte. An accident involving a CATS bus has several lanes closed in both directions at this intersection, Tyvella Road at Old Pineville Road. We also have an accident having the shoulder block I-77 South at I-277.
8:30 now on this Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us on WCNC Plus. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Happening today, it's your chance to weigh in on Charlotte's big transit plan. City leaders say we are closer than ever to locking down the support needed.
And yet a few hurdles remain, including winning over communities most impacted by the plan.
This spring, Charlotte leaders are busy pushing state lawmakers to sign off on the city's sweeping multi-billion-dollar transit plan. But community advocates say there's another group they need to worry about.
If this transit plan is going to pass, it needs black voters. Nothing in Charlotte-Mecklenburg passes without the majority of black voters supporting it. No bond, no tax, no referendum. Nada.
Colette Forrest runs the Charlotte Black Voter Project, representing nearly 250,000 voters.
It sounds like to me that you're saying the black community has almost been an afterthought when it comes to this transit plan.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better myself.
Tonight, the group is hosting a transit town hall featuring the mayor, Congresswoman Alma Adams, and others. Forrest argues the best parts of the plan, like a commuter rail, benefit Charlotte's wealthier northern suburbs.
Why do we have to be regulated to bus? Why can't we reimagine what transit looks like and have light rail in the black communities?
But the two bills currently up for debate in Raleigh limit the city's investment in rail lines. In order to get Republican support in the General Assembly, Charlotte's plan must also focus on roads and more bus service.
It will represent significant new investment and enhancements to the region's transit system.
Once the state signs off, only then voters will get to say on a half-cent sales tax put on the November ballot. But a key voting bloc could be in limbo.
We're tired of being an afterthought.
So that transit town hall happening tonight, 6 o'clock at Weeping Willow AME Zion Church. If you don't know, that's over in the east side part of town on Milton Road. It's a multi-billion-dollar plan. Some estimates have it go up to $25 billion. And you want to make sure you're incorporating all stakeholders in it when you plan it. So.
Especially those who may be more likely to use public transportation.
And that's Colette's point there. All right, switching gears now to your forecast. Chris standing by.
Thanks a lot. Well, I guess walking by. I'm over here. Hello. 67 degrees is what we have right now, 70 degrees around Concord. Just really looking at the newest data, what's happening for this coming Saturday. It's every hour that we have one of our main models that updates, but I think especially by tomorrow, we're going to have a clear picture about where everything's starting to line up, because oftentimes it's trying to, who do you believe as far as what numerical model is going to make the best representation? Well, it looks like we are having a clear picture of what at least is happening for Saturday, and it's not good. We had the lower to the mid 80s across our area. 86 degrees right around Charlotte. Yesterday was 87, so not a big difference. I think we still have a little bit of haze. Feels a little sticky, especially in the morning. And also we're going to have those stronger wind gusts out of the southwest getting up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. But we will have a better rain chance, mainly for areas off towards the west. It's this little guy right here. Eventually is going to expand into some of our western zones. So our futurecast showing that there is actually a slight chance for a severe storm up in the mountains. So just a little sliver that officially got added a little bit further east just about a couple hours ago. So not really a big deal here. Maybe a chance for a stronger thunderstorm. Certainly heaviest rain is going to be up in the high country. And if you're watching from Shelby up to Hickory to Morganton, this area in general has the best chance for the heaviest rain. Of course, I already mentioned the mountains. And then once you get to about the line of, let's call it 321, the dividing line, that's where it looks like things start to die out. But I've also been fooled. I've been tricked before. So I just want all of us to kind of be aware that by the end of the afternoon, so 4 to 8, the I-77 corridor could have a quick passing shower. Doesn't look to be a big deal, though, and then maybe a stray shower through the overnight. How much? Mainly traces across the Charlotte area and a little bit closer to about a quarter to a half inch up in the mountains. But I mentioned you, Shelby. It's really this line, Shelby, up into the mountains, that will have a better chance for rain. And our best chances for rain, I think right now, are not on here. It's Saturday night. So there's daily rain chances, and then there's nighttime rain chances. It becomes really scattered as we work our way into your Saturday evening. Tomorrow, the one rain chance I think that really sticks out is the middle of the afternoon. That's where we have a developing band of showers and storms. And then heading into the evening, things are trending in a drier direction for Charlotte, at least. Just more rain up in Morganton, Taylorsville, if you have any Friday evening plans. But we are officially going weather alert starting on Saturday afternoon after 2 o'clock. Lightning, strong wind winds, heavy rain, all going to be a possibility, but are especially showing you the impacts because the amount of things that are going on outside. We also have a low risk for severe storms now during the afternoon. The evening, I'm tempering expectations just because I think it's going to be at a more favorable time in the late day. Now, what we need this to do is to all delay for the overnight. It's still going to be a lot of rain, but at least we can get our events in, and then the severe weather window really almost shuts. We have the mid-70s following a cold front. I think it's kind of a wet and dreary start to your Sunday, or at least damp. Could have a break in the clouds by the afternoon, but Sunday is also trending to be cloudier and wetter compared to what we saw yesterday. And then we should see a last of a near-term rain chance on Monday before we dry out the middle of the week right around 80 degrees. Destiny was saying that things are starting to slow down, or I mean, the amount of activity is slowing down. How are we looking now?
Yeah, right now we are following a couple things going on. I-77 near I-277, that is the Brookshire Freeway exit 11. There was a crash there that was, oh, it's freaking out, but there was a crash there that was causing a little bit of congestion just north of Uptown this morning. But as you can see, there is really a lot going on right now across the map here. But there's an accident just north that had the shoulder blocked. If we zoom in, we can get to that accident. But first, let's talk about this one, because this one is in South Charlotte, affecting a lot more people. Tyvola Road at Old Pineville Road, there are lanes blocked in both directions here. This is an accident involving a CATS bus, as you can see from the image. So that could have a ripple effect also for folks here on I-77. And then going to that accident here, so shoulder blocked, I-77 south at I-277. Again, a lot of congestion in this area, but thankfully it is not actually in the roadway, so that's been moved to the shoulder this morning. Going to some other things going on, I-85 northbound at Beatty's Ford Road this morning, and then another accident here southbound Eastway Drive after Woodlawn Road.
8:37 now. We're learning new details just into our newsroom about that deadly apartment fire in Kings Mountain. Flames destroyed multiple units at Green Tree Apartments on Monday, taking the life of 45-year-old Evelyn Blackney. Just moments ago, city officials told us the building did not have sprinklers. Witnesses tell us those flames were fast moving and many had to leave everything behind to escape.
An apartment caught fire like right next to me, and everybody just kind of huddled together in little groups, just kind of waiting for everything to calm down.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation this morning.
North Carolina Governor Josh Stein urging lawmakers to protect programs that help with early childhood education. He attended a child care conference yesterday where he spoke about the importance of programs like Smart Start and Head Start. They provide essential services like child care, health screenings, in some cases meals. WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley dives deeper into what would happen if federal funding is cut.
April McSwain moved to this South Charlotte neighborhood more than 30 years ago. It's the same neighborhood where programs like Head Start sat in the center of her community before closing, and the building was recently demolished.
Bethlehem Center is a historical place over here in Southside Home neighborhood and Lucy Gets, because a lot of families over here, their children went to that school. And I can reflect on that because my children used to go there.
In a letter to Congress, Governor Stein, Lieutenant Governor Hunt, and State Superintendent Green urged Congress to act. This after the Trump administration proposed cuts to the Department of Health and Human Services. That includes eliminating funding for Head Start programs that McSwain says would be a huge loss.
Really sad the way that the world is going. We just have to come together as people and try to do something about it.
The federal program provides free and low-cost child care to low-income families.
No, they do not need to do away with this.
More than 19,500 children in the state of North Carolina rely on Head Start and Early Head Start. The program also provides access to health screenings and healthy foods. McSwain, who's a cafeteria worker for CMS, understands why it's so important for children to have healthy meals.
Some families, they just don't have the funds.
That was Siobhan Riley reporting. An investigation is underway this morning after a local mother says a CMS kindergarten teacher was allegedly caught kissing her daughter in the bathroom. The mother tells us her daughter, who is nonverbal and autistic, loved going to school at Blythe Elementary in Huntersville. But when she noticed changes in her behavior, she went to speak with school administrators. Then, days later, the principal called her and told her what happened.
I went to the school. I took her out. Her father came to the school and spoke to them because I couldn't even ask questions. I was so upset because I knew something was happening.
We're told another staff member reported the incident and the teacher was removed from the class, but not from the school. We reached out to the school board. It tells us they cannot comment on the investigation.
This morning, Rock Hill Police want you to be aware of a new scam. It's called smishing. Scammers target victims with text messages about unpaid tolls and link to pay it off. But police are warning you, do not click on the link because it's going to capture your banking information and those scammers are going to withdraw money from your account. Speaking of scams, Mecklenburg County hosting a scam jam today. The free event helps seniors learn how to spot and report scams. Attendees are going to hear from law enforcement, legal aids, state agencies as well. It all starts at 10 this morning at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church in North Charlotte. Registration, though, is required.
Now to a topic that we're continuing to follow, the cooperation between immigration officials and local law enforcement. The North Carolina House advanced a bill this week requiring sheriffs to work more closely with federal officials on ICE arrests.
And now the federal government is getting involved. WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay breaks down what comes next.
This bill is in line with President Donald Trump's recent executive order threatening funding cuts to jurisdictions that don't work with ICE. U.S. Senator Thom Tillis says North Carolina has multiple examples of this and that he plans to introduce federal legislation to stop it. A heated hour-long debate on the North Carolina House floor.
And will be sent to the Senate engrossed.
Ending in the advancement of House Bill 318 to expand the list of offenses requiring local law enforcement's cooperation with ICE. But the debate doesn't stop here.
Why are we doing the federal government's job for them?
The back and forth mostly centered around Mecklenburg County and Sheriff Gary McFadden.
I expect him to do that because that's protecting my community too, my children too.
Representative Carla Cunningham, a Democrat from Charlotte, voting with the Republicans and against her fellow Mecklenburg County representatives like Jordan Lopez.
The moment they start chipping away at due process for people who are immigrants is the moment we open the door for them to chip away at due process for native-born Americans.
He agrees with local advocates like the Carolina Migrant Network that this is not due process, but is an overstep.
There is no federal requirement for what is under federal law voluntary sheriff-ICE collaboration.
But that might soon change. On social media, Thom Tillis, one of North Carolina's 2 senators, says he would soon introduce legislation to hold sanctuary jurisdictions accountable. His team says 10 North Carolina institutions are considered non-cooperative, including Mecklenburg County and Watauga County.
But unfortunately, somewhere around 5 or so sheriffs in our state, if not outright violating the law, or certainly violating the spirit that was behind that law.
Representative Lopez says both sides of the aisle can agree on safety, but that this bill would not accomplish that.
Wouldn't change much more except adding more crimes for which people would then be subject to being held, violating their due process, and then, again, spending more taxpayer dollars on behalf of the federal government.
For now, the debate will continue to the Senate, both state and federal. This isn't the only state bill addressing detainer enforcement. Senate Bill 153 would be similar, but would add those requirements to other departments like the Highway Patrol and SBI. Back to you.
This weekend, Symphony Park will be transformed for a vibrant celebration of Mexican culture.
The annual Cinco de Mayo festival returns this Sunday, bringing food, music, and a lot of great traditions. WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris has more for us this morning.
It's Cinco de Mayo the real way.
It just got bigger and bigger each year.
Charlotte's Cinco de Mayo festival has grown into one of the city's most anticipated cultural events of the spring.
This year actually is going to be the churro contest.
Rosangela Torres is one of the event organizers and breaks down what visitors can look forward to this year.
A lot of the highlights of the festival are going to showcase folkloric dancers, and you're going to see their traditional costumes and kind of like what that's made of. We also have our mariachis, and just people get to enjoy a different culture.
The annual festival offers tons of entertainment, food, and activities for the family.
The festival does a very good job at showcasing kind of like little things about Mexico's culture.
An important element for organizers, the educational component surrounding the holiday, which is why they're making sure that every piece of Mexico's diverse culture is represented.
Based on history, every state is like combined of different groups of people, and because of that, that's going to be reflected on the way that they dress. That's going to be reflected on their native languages, on their dances.
Showing the tradition behind Mexico's heritage, all within the Queen City.
Looks like a lot of fun there, of course, to learn more about Cinco de Mayo.
And we've said it's going to be a big weekend because we are just 24 hours away from Love and Life in Uptown. The music festival expected to draw thousands to First Ward Park to see acts like, Gwen Stefani, Pitbull, Dave Matthews. But before the fun can really start, reminders for folks heading up to Uptown. Love and Life's going to have a clear bag policy. Several roads already closed this morning, including 7th and 8th Streets between Brevard and Caldwell. And beginning in about 15 minutes, streets in the immediate area of the festival will be locked off as well. Officials tell us the roads are going to reopen Tuesday just before the morning rush hour.
This morning we are following a CATS bus crash in South Charlotte. If we get a live look, you can see the scene this morning. Here we go. We see the CATS bus that was involved in this crash. This is Tyvola at Old Pineville Road this morning. So definitely something to be aware of. I know that in that intersection they have a couple of, not all the lanes closed, so it's not completely shut down, but there are several lanes that are shut down in that intersection. So hopefully that clears up soon. Definitely a busy part of South Charlotte because it is right east of I-77. So if we go to the map here, you can see the congestion that is just in the area. And then if we go a little bit closer, this is what we are talking about. So a lot going on here. The accident involving the CATS bus at Tyvola Road, at Old Pineville Road. And then, as you can see, really heavy traffic on I-77 as well. So really just a whole mess in this area. Some of the other accidents that we're following, an accident has the shoulder blocked I-77 southbound at I-277 this morning. Just a lot of congestion on I-77 in and around Uptown throughout the morning. We also have an accident on I-85 northbound at Beatty's Ford Road. This one, I believe the shoulder is blocked for this one, so there's been an update there. And then we also have an accident that has gone from orange to red, so a little bit more serious and affecting traffic southbound Eastway Drive after Woodlawn Drive. Drive safely.
Thanks a lot, Destiny, for that update. And here's another update for our severe weather risk. Anything in the green, that means just a general chance for thunderstorms. Whenever you have a shade of yellow, that means a low chance for severe storms. So today and tomorrow, there is a low risk for severe storms literally right along the Tennessee border. So not even all of the mountains, so barely even a risk. General thunderstorms possible west of I-77 today, and a little bit more so around the I-77 corridor tomorrow. Saturday. Everyone, I mean everyone from the mountains to the sandhills across the Piedmont will have a chance for a severe storm on Saturday. That's smack dab right in the middle of Love and Life. Don't like it. Also, we have Kendrick that's in town starting at 7 o'clock with SZA. Like, what is going on here? It's been a long while waiting for a widespread rain chance, and now all of a sudden we finally got it for probably the busiest Saturday we've had in months. And then temperatures a little bit cooler on Sunday. Sunday afternoon does look like it's trending in a drier direction. But right now, our best chance for rain look to be Saturday night, heading into the first part of our Sunday. So let's go through it all. First off, I'm going weather alert for your Saturday. There's too much going on. Even if it was just a general thunderstorm and the amount that's coming with this, it's definitely worth you being weather aware. So Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, we're going weather alert. Lightning, strong winds, heavy rain, hail, all going to be a possibility with that. The severe weather risk, I think, is mainly in the afternoon. By the evening, it's just a rain event and a lightning event, but What happens whenever you have or hear thunder for an outdoor event, say playing soccer? Well, they go by that 30-30 rule, that once you hear thunder, you have to wait 30 minutes till you don't hear it again before they can resume any activity. Same thing's going to happen. So stay weather aware as things are going forward. But just letting you know, also on that side of things, if you're at the concert at Bank of America Stadium, they have a much better guide about how far away the lightning is going to be, so they can judge it a little bit better than just say like a high school sport just using that 30-30 rule. But our weather impact window is really after 2 p.m. At that point, that's where we have some blossoming showers and storms, and lightning and strong winds are going to be the highest threat. Any individual cell could briefly bring hail by the evening. I don't think hail is really much of an issue. Storm Prediction Center put us all under a low risk. When I say all, pretty much most of the eastern seaboard, all the way from Massachusetts down to the northern parts of Florida, because of this passing system. The reason why we haven't really seen a big severe weather risk over the last few days is because most of the activity, that lifting mechanism talking about the front, is way too far off towards the west. So let's go through all the rainfall chances, and then I'll focus a little bit more on your Saturday, which I think is the big one. Here is what it looks like today. We have a line of showers and storms to our west. As that is working its way a little bit closer to home, I think it's going to fade out. So we'll briefly have a chance for rain by the end of the afternoon, heading into the early evening, before we start to see a nice little back off from those rain showers. Then rinse and repeat. By the middle of the afternoon, after 1-2 o'clock, we see showers and storms starting to develop. At this point, you can have a quick stint of some heavy rain. Some areas could even see it for a couple of hours. But it does look like we're trending to be a little bit drier for the Charlotte area, but we'll have a better chance for rain up in the mountains and foothills and down the sandhills, so Charlotte kind of in between, looking A-okay. Here's where Saturday is an interesting one. As that front is getting a little bit close to us, we'll have a slight chance for rain in the morning, but likely by the end of the morning and the early afternoon, we're dry. But it's at this point, any heat and humidity could start to fire up some individual showers and thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms could cluster together, providing some gustier winds. It depends where you are. Some of us on Saturday are going to have barely a drop fall at their house, but others could see storm after storm. This is called training, where you have literally a train of storms, and that's what leads to some flooding. So there is also a low flash flooding risk. We're not on anything from the Storm Prediction Center, but then we see some of that highest potential as we work away into the evening. Now, this has changed each and every day. It keeps on getting later and later. So by the time I'm up here tomorrow here on WCNC Plus, I very well could be saying, hey, this is an overnight event. But in the meantime, I thought we should go weather alert, just with the outside chance for the storms during the afternoon, heading into the evening and into Sunday as well. After that, it looks like we're not drying out until about the middle of next week.
The Kentucky Derby is this weekend, and there's an increased focus this year on the safety of some of those racehorses. It comes after several of them died right before last year's Derby. David Mattingly reports.
Released in March, the 2024 annual report from HISA, the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, brought new optimism to the sport. The rate of racing fatalities at 47 tracks regulated by HISA dropped to 0.9 fatal injuries per 1,000 starts, down from 1.23 just the year before. Churchill Downs reported 6 dead for the year, a vast improvement over 2023, when 7 died at the track by Derby Day.
Can you point to anything and say this is working?
No, but I'll tell you it's truly a team effort. I mean, there are a lot of parties that are involved to help keep horses safe on the racetrack, from owners, trainers, the attending veterinarians, our regulatory structure.
When racing was suspended in 2023, Churchill Downs paid for upgrades to track maintenance and testing. Horses now race with sensors measuring their strides. And 2025 adds nuclear imagery, or PET scans, to its veterinary care.
Our big thing that we're really trying to drive this year is the science side of things, the technology side of things, and that's where PET comes in. It's a brand new piece of technology.
Churchill Downs investments in racing safety are intended as safeguards against a problem that is yet to be defined. There's never been a clear answer to why the 2023 spike in fatalities happened in the first place. Even critics of horse racing question if location was a factor.
The horse racing industry is a single entity. These horses are constantly being shuffled from track to track and across state lines to race. So the numbers are going to vary depending on where the horse ultimately breaks down. It doesn't mean that Churchill in 2023 was unusually less safe than other tracks.
Churchill Downs' first death of the new season came 9 days before Derby. A horse was euthanized on the track after fracturing both of its front legs. An unsettling start to a new year when confidence in equine safety is gaining strength.
Is it possible to get to 0 fatalities?
I think we can get very, very close to 0.
Why do you say that?
We just have to better use technology. Technology can help in every industry of the world. There is some type of advanced technology that can help identify subtle catastrophic injuries in a piece of equipment or in an athlete, a human athlete. So we just have to figure out how to adapt that technology for us here at the racetrack and for thoroughbreds to be able to help us identify those things. It can be found, we just have to figure out how to find it.
David Manley with that report. Well, one TikTok sparking new debate online this morning. Do you need to get a bride and groom a gift for their wedding? Started when a TikTok creator posted online saying out of 120 guests at her wedding, 120 of them, she only received 12 cards and 4 gifts. Some online saying getting a gift is part of wedding etiquette. It's rude to just show up empty-handed. Others say newlyweds should just be happy that couple took time to come celebrate them at all.
Now, earlier in the show, we asked for your thoughts. Do you need to get the couple a gift if you go to the wedding? Lots of you responded. Thanks for doing so. And the response was almost unanimous. Pretty much everyone agrees that you should bring a gift, although some pointed out that you should not have to buy a gift for the shower and the wedding.
Really simple. Don't want to buy a gift?
Don't go
to the wedding.
Just don't.
Just don't. It's very easy. Otherwise, you got to get them a gift.
You have to. Unless it's a destination, and I can kind of see then your presence.
My presence is a present.
Is the gift, yeah.
There you go. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're going to have another check of weather and traffic in just a moment. And then our very own Jane Monreal going to take over from our new Impact Stream studio. She's going to talk to a doctor about hearing loss risks among video game and esports players. And yours truly actually going to walk on over here in just a minute. Going to join her as well.
Wow.
Don't miss that. The top of the hour, 9 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
Good day, everybody. 86 degrees, so just a little bit warmer, or a little bit cooler than what we had yesterday. Yesterday we had 87, 86 today, and then we're in the lower 80s before you know it, right around noon. So it is going to be warm and also slightly steamy going forward. So that night's forecast, everything looking to be pretty dry, but there is a slight chance for a little bit of rain a little bit later on. So our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, we have a chance for a shower and storm this afternoon. Again, tomorrow, better chance tomorrow afternoon, actually, and then a much better chance for rain and storms Saturday and Saturday evening. Destiny?
Yeah, this morning it's been quite busy out there. This is I-77 near I-277 near the Brookshire Freeway exit 11, and traffic is moving a little bit slow, but a lot better than earlier. There was an I-277 crash, but we were also following a Cat's bus crash on Tyvola Road at Old Pineville Road. It has cleared, and again, the shoulder is still blocked for the I-77 South crash, but traffic moving just slowly by there.